channel is actually Young and Corporate series, and it's aimed and geared towards young professionals, trying to help them find their path, especially a number of them that are stuck in their career, confused, and don't know what next to do. Just trying to figure it out. And I have interviewed a number of my friends and people in my circle. And guys, I have with me Yinka here for this session. Like I said, I brag about my friends and I brag different. Don't worry about it. So hi Yinka.
Hi.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, I'm privileged to be here.
So out of let me just give you this tip, guys. He's my big uncle. He's not my friend. So I'm really trying hard to call him Yinka. So when I say Yinka, please put a bro in front of it. So it's so good to have you here.
Pleasure.
Yes.
Pleasure.
So I'm actually very excited.
Yeah,
so,
same here. Same here.
So I know that you're an engineer.
Yes.
And yeah, there. Like I'm literally
I've
in
tried.
your house,
I've
and I'm literally in your movie theater. That's to show how big you are. So but you went through a journey.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
You went through a journey, and right now you're in the United States of America. And but I know that you went through a journey.
Yeah.
So do you mind running us through your journey, your career journey, basically, and just how you, because you can go as far as kindergarten.
Which is true. Which is true. Yes, there are stories way back to when I was 3. Actually, the stories that my parents told me, and I can go as far back as that.
Please give it us.
So let me formally introduce myself. I'm Yinka Elegbede, and I'm from Nigeria. My dad is from Oyo State. My mom is from Akwa Ibom. So I'm well mixed. They call me half caste in Nigeria. So that's where I get a mixture of a lot of things.
So do you speak the Akwa Ibom?
No, I don't. But I can. I understand the body language. I understand the intonations, the rise and fall of the voice. I kind of insinuate. I can imagine exactly what they are saying. If they are having a conversation, I'm like, these people want to sell me. I can get that out. I can figure that out. So yeah, I know some words, but I try to put pieces them together to understand what's going on in the conversation. So
that's about it.
Yep. Yeah. So Yinka Elegbede. And I lived in Lagos. I was born in Lagos, so I lived in Lagos all my life. Though, like I said, I'm going as far back as when my dad actually told me that the younger sister was living with us, Auntie Lizzie, and she has this transistor radio from my NYC. And then I took that transistor radio, I went under the bed, I pieces everything. They don't know how I did it because there was no screwdriver, there was no anything. I pieces everything, and they were looking for me all over the house, and they were like, "Where's this little rat?" As in, finally I came out when I was done with my little experiment. Got out, and they were like, "What are you doing there? I mean, where have you been?" I was like, "Well, I was just messing around." And then they checked under the bed, and they saw pieces of the transistor radio. It was pieces into the wires were out. The motherboard was out. Everything was pieces on the floor. And they were like, I mean, what can I do with this guy? We are not going to whoop him.
What age was this?
This was probably 3, 4.
Oh my God.
So I was still very young. And so that's when my dad was, he's going to be a mechanical engineer. I remember him saying so much about that then. And then I started buying toy cars. I was so big on toy cars. And that's why I have a lot of cars in my garage. So
I see.
I'm big on that. I love cars. So yeah, I bought cars, and my dream job was working in the automobile industry. That was then growing up, I mean, because I love the cars. So I went to Command Children's School, Yaba. Yeah, from there, I was a little bit above average student. I wouldn't say I was the smartest guy. I know my positions were between I never entered top 5, but I saw some 7s, some 8s, some 15th position. You know, we always have that position thing. So I was never top of my class. So I wouldn't lie like all those fun fathers. Oh, I was the best in my class. I was best in there. So I wasn't top of my class. But once I got to Mayflower, I think I found my niche. Initially, so I went to Remo Secondary School first for my first year, just as one. Was in Remo Secondary School, Shagam. This was in 1990s. Remo Secondary School, that was 91, 92.
Wow.
Around 91, 92, yes, Remo Secondary School. So my older brother, Shagun, who has always been my mentor, he's an engineer too. He's the one I always look for. He was that top 1% in his class. He was super sharp. He was a good son.
There's always that child in the family.
He was a good son, and we are just two. Funny enough,
Oh
he's the
my
older one
God.
and the younger one, and he just knew he knew how to do everything to perfection.
Oh, must have
He's
been a very tough childhood for you.
No, I had to give up on being
Try.
like him, because this guy will clean up this. He will clean up this whole house. You see him sweating, cleaning. I mean, we didn't even have to get cleaners or maids or whatever. My brother was up to the task. My mom too. You know, Akwa Ibom, they are good, strong, energetic, working and all that. My brother was I think I was the mixed Yoruba and Akwa Ibom. So I mean, he does things to perfection. That it was a problem when I do those things and my mom finds faults in it. So I just give up that. Well, I need an intro, man. I'm not gonna kill myself on this thing. So. Yeah, he was a tough act to follow. So he was Mayflower. So I joined him in GSS2. I joined Mayflower in GSS2 to go be with him. So he was a senior already. He was like in SS. He was very fast. Everything
so
he did.
You had some immunity.
Exactly. So seniors who were juniors to him, oh, yeah, Sampam's younger brother. They leave me alone and all that. So he was in a science class. He was in red. That's the hottest class in Mayflower. So in my head, when I was in GSS, I was like, there's no harm was being red too. No, he was always that driver for me. So I got into SS1, I was in SS1 red. So I accomplished that goal. But now I had the challenge of physics, chemistry, math, and all that. But I find myself gravitating to physics. Because physics is something that I tell people, it's very mechanical, it's very physical. Like it push. Like there's a force, then there's a reaction to the force. So that intuition just worked for me. Chemistry, on the other hand, I didn't know jack about
Chemical reactions.
it. It was more of cramming. I cram all the properties. I know I could cram. I crammed the whole Ababio, so I can get at least A3 in my SSC WAEC exam. Physics, though, I had an A2 in physics, which I was a little bit disappointed. I had like 7 A's and 2 C's, so. It was, I mean, I did the best I could, but that was it. I wasn't really flustered about it. Yoruba, I had a C6 in Yoruba, so I wasn't really bothered about that. And geography was C5. I did all I could. I thought I would get an A in it, but unfortunately I saw the C5. I was like, oh, what is this? Then the rest were A's. So.
It is what it is.
Exactly. So from there, after I finished Mayflower, I went to Unilag. So I did JAM. JAM was probably I believe I was the most confused person while doing JAM. I just didn't understand what I was doing. Yeah, the math was good. I was good at math, so the math was okay. But every other question just seemed strange. I was like, what am I doing here? So I think the JAM scores came out. I had 210. And then I wanted to go to Ife because my dad went to Ife, and it was just, I mean, I'm always like.
Where was your brother?
My brother was in UI, so he was
okay.
He was actually running UI and poly battle to get that. That's how sharp he was. Like he wanted to get all the degrees he could get, and then I mean, he was always that forefront guy that I always looked forward to. So that went like that. So I went to Unilag. I did a pre-degree. Because my score couldn't get me into Unilag or Ife. To tell me get you into Ife, I think the cutoff point was like 250 or so. Engineering. I wanted to do mechanical engineering. So yeah, that mechanical engineering has always been with me right from my younger days, and it stuck with me. I stuck with it. Like and then physics just made sense to me.
Yeah.
It just made sense to me. It was all about the physicality of it. It was practical. That's the right word. It was very practical. I could think about it. I can do it. I can make examples of it. But unlike chemistry, when you tell me hydrogen and two molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen from water, this is what I hear now. Where's the hydrogen? I need to see the hydrogen. I need to see the oxygen. But you're telling me that's what it does. And believe you me, there are some friends who were exceptionally good in that chemistry. They were just good, and I just didn't understand how. All I could do was just, titration, the experiment part of our SSC, I crammed everything. And I did well in that chemistry to the best of my, because I got an A3. I was like, oh, okay, yes, I crammed the effort wasn't wasted to cram a whole textbook. So that went, SSC was good. And then I got admission into the P-degree for Unilag. That went well, no hassles. So I was able to get into mechanical engineering in 1998 into mechanical engineering, University of Lagos. So this is where the challenge started. So up till Unilag, my life was more of guarded. Like I went to boarding school, so you were kind of, there's a regimen to it. There's a structure to it.
There wasn't so much freedom at that
Exactly, there wasn't freedom. So up till that point, there's been structure. Then I got to University of Lagos and I was like, man, this is free life, man. Freedom. This is me. This is on me. I can play. I can do whatever I want to do and all that. So got into P-degree. It was fun. Then year one, mechanical engineering. I believe that was a year. Yeah, I remember now. That was a year where everybody came into University of Lagos because there was awaiting results. We had diploma. Then we had people who did diploma within Unilag. Then we had us P-degree. So it was like the whole world was in University of Lagos.
At that time.
So I remember our first class, GG 101, engineering math. The hall was packed. I was late. I remember I was late, and I was hoping that I would sit down. The hall was. People were. It was overflowing out to the hallway, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Well, I don't care. I'm going." And that is exactly how that first year went. I can't remember any class I physically attended because it was just chaos. It was chaos, and that was the recipe for disaster for University of Lagos. University of Lagos is, like I tell my wife, is a story I don't usually want to talk about because I failed. I believe I failed. But I got out. I got out of it because that's first class set the tone. The first class I had, that GG 101, set the tone for my career in university, for my studies, for my academics at the University of Lagos. I just lost interest. I lost interest completely. But there was one course that I really liked. There was one course that kept on going for me, strength of materials. I just loved it because it was about weight and how it affects your any form of elements. Displacement of weight, stuff like that. How force can affect the whole thing, the bending moments, everything, displacement, everything. That just made sense to me. And then I actually had an extra year, which I'm not proud to say, but it was deserved.
It's part of your story.
Exactly. University of Lagos in a nutshell was a failure to me. It was a failure. And that affected me. It affected a lot. It affected my self-confidence. I was this super confident guy who came from Mayflower School, who did very, very well in my SSE. And I had that arrogance with me that I'm smart, I'm sharp, and I'm a fine boy. I used to do that a lot. But University of Lagos kind of humbled me. But I always tell the story this way, that I believe it was the way God wanted to humble me as a person. Because I had that arrogance, and I was arrogant, I was stubborn, I was just impervious to correction. I was that kid that my parents had to pray a million times, prayer and fasting. I was just that kid that wouldn't listen. So I believe God just wanted to use that to humble me. And despite that tough class that I finished with in University of Lagos, I finished the tough class 2.3 something. Yeah, just a little bit below 2.5. It was a tough class degree. Like I said, it was a failure for me. And then I went to do my NYC in Eket, Akwa Ibom. were ExxonMobil. I mean, you see how God works? And I can tell you, at that point, most of my friends who were 2-1s, there was a first class guy who worked in the bank, and I still don't understand why
it's
that.
It's just an NYC shuffling.
Exactly. Even after NYC, he was working in the bank, and I didn't understand that first class couldn't get
something better.
He should be the one in Exxon, not me. Because I had another first class who was working in Exxon with me. Though he was more in the high research team at Exxon. I was more into, I was in the upstream section. I was going offshore and coming back. I was an offshore engineer, mechanical engineer. So I did my NYC there. I got retained for another 2-3 years there. And that was where, I started picking up. The confidence started coming back that, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. So that's where I later on decided to do my master's degree. And the platform I was working on is a natural gas platform. So intuitively, I believe that I was looking for a natural gas course in the US, and which I found one, which was Texas A&M, Kingsville. And that's where I went to. I got in got into the natural gas program. And from there, I was hoping to we make from natural gas, we have production thing, and we pollute the air, we do all this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, maybe I would like to double major, probably look for a way where I can clean my dirt. So I kind of double majored and actually made environmental my major, environmental engineering. So I kind of moved them around. Natural gas became my minor, environmental engineering became my major. So, like, in a nutshell, I double majored in my master's degree, and then after that, it was a smooth sail because I got better. Like, I got that confidence back. But the trick there is that now I know from my own background, I believe it's not about me anymore. It's about God in my life. Because if God can take me from the doldrums of University of Lagos and elevate me to Exxon and then an MSc, even with that degree, they still took me. Like, they were like, they took me. I even got scholarships because I did very well in my what do you call it? My GRE, graduate records exams that qualify you to come to school here. So I did exceptionally well. My math was top notch, was 720 over 800. So that just qualified me for
scholarships.
For a lot of scholarships. So I was paying almost half of the tuition throughout my stay at the Texas A&M Kingsville. So I double majored, finished with a very high degree. Finished with a 3.4 over 4.0, which was to me, it wasn't the best I could do, but I knew I could do better. But I didn't even get out of gear 2. It's like I coasted. That confidence came back. I coasted. It was fine. I wasn't going to like overstress myself, but I believe, yes, this is good enough and I can move forward with that. So right after that, got my first job in the industry at e-fabrication. Right before that, another God-driven story. So my brother, who was working with Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas, sharp boy, they always get the best companies to work for, So he was the one who helped me financially while in the university here doing my master's degree. He helped me financially, and then once I got out, there was a 6 months gap before I got a job. So during that 6 months, he was sending me money. By the point in time, he was sending me money throughout school. Then after school, he was still sending me the money. So I had to bro, I got a job. Let me go hustle. I can't be depending on you for everything. So I lied to him that I got a job. You should stop sending the money, that the money's enough for me to settle. Meanwhile, I was living with a friend. So I didn't have a job. I was living with him, but I was a good cook then.
Hey, that's a plus.
I was a good cook. So I was cooking for this friend. Then we'll call other friends. They will come. They were all working. I was probably the only one who didn't have a job then. So they all come. They used to call me, that my friends, they called, Ike's wife. That's what they used to call me. I slept on his couch. He slept in his. I mean, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I mean, it's just about, like I said, it's me with God. It's not me anymore. You know. So after that, so I got a job to do. I'm not sure if you know about this one, caregiver.
Yeah.
Where you look to kids that have deficiencies, special needs. That's the right word. That's the right definition for them. So I did that for, I think, 3 months, right after school, and then while I was doing that, I was, applying to jobs and all that. Then unfortunately, my friend just didn't like my presence in his house, and it was like I had to leave, which is fine. I'm like, okay. I was actually looking. It was in middle of the night that my friend texted me that, oh, when are you getting out of my house? I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to call. I thought it was a mistake, so I called him. Okay, hope no issue. What did I do? He was like, no, I just need you out of my apartment. Oh, I said, no problem. So I woke up that day, went in search for an apartment. I didn't have money, but I had that faith that I'll just go. Something's gonna happen. So I went out. I was driving all around the whole Houston until I got to this particular apartment. They call it Camdens. The Camdens, luxurious apartment. So I went there.
You went to a luxurious apartment.
Luxurious apartment. Money. I don't have $1. I was actually that caregiver. I was making $7 an hour.
Oh my Lord.
So I went there, and then they went, oh yeah, welcome, blah blah blah. So I told her that, oh, I'm expecting a job. She was like, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, yeah, I understand, but I know I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna live in this apartment. So she was like, you know what? Well, once you get that job, you know how they smile with you just to make you just push you away nicely. Push you away nicely. I know you. Okay, don't worry. When you get a job, I'll be here. I'll help you. I'll help you do everything. Very super polite. As I was walking out, I got a call right there. There and there. I got a call. Hey, Yinka, this is Ray Mister. Yeah, I remember his name. That was my boss there. Ray Mister. How would you like to come work with us? You did very well in the interviews. We want you to start with us as soon as you can. And this was a Thursday. I was like, yeah, I can start next Monday. He was like, no, don't worry, take it easy. Don't worry, you can start in 2 weeks. We want you to take your. No, I'm not taking my time. I want to start this Monday. This Monday. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, we can make that work. So before I got out of it, I just looked back and looked at that. That woman was in shock. The eyes were open, like her mouth was open, like, what? This guy was just telling me he's gonna get a job.
He didn't know what job.
He got it right there. And the woman said, you've touched me as a human being. And I was like, I just started crying. Like I couldn't just hold the tears. I was like, yeah, this is God. This is who I believe in. I believe God comes. This is not a coincidence or anything.
It's not.
It's a plan so that God can take all the glory. Not what I know, but God taking all the glory at that particular point in my life. And then from then on, I met my wife. I met my wife 3 months into my job. And beautiful wife, God-fearing. What made it fast? Like, we got married that same year that I met her. We got married in, I met her in February. I got my job in November. I met her in February, and then we did court wedding in June of 2013. Yeah, 2013. Yep. I met her 2012 February. We did a court wedding June 24th. It was on her birthday. And between that, I lost my job. I lost this job because there was we lost a lot of contracts, and then I was one of the highest. Exactly. Business wasn't going fast. I'm like the only engineer in fabrication shop. Others are like handyman and so I was making more money than all of them. So I was the easy targets to get laid on. But my boss, that Ray was actually crying. He was in tears. Like, I'm sorry, you're such a good guy. I really want to work. I really want to help you.
To keep going.
Exactly. So I'm sorry we have to lay you off and all that. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. That's okay. I understand. And I left that day. So I got home. met my wife, I was like, well, this is what happened, and she was like, oh my goodness. I mean, how are you gonna do it? We just did so we're gonna do the court wedding. I got laid off in April. The court thing was scheduled for June. So I was like, no problem. But I believe what God wanted. I believe in God still. Like, I believe God wanted me to know the kind of wife I'm marrying. Mm-hmm. That's why I lost that job. So it's not because I had a job, I was making money. Mm-hmm. That's why that woman came into my life, and then she just wants to just sit down, enjoy the moment. Mm-hmm. But God took that thing off me. He took the job off me to make me understand that the woman that's coming into my life is actually mine. Like, this is a woman who will be there for me when things are bad, when things are good. She'll be there. She was there. I remember. So they have this African store. They sell food stuff and all that. So I remember we were coming back from the store, and then she was just talking to me in the car, like, do you know what? So that you don't just sit down in the apartment all day. Maybe you can just come and help in the shop and all that. I was like, are you okay? My Nigeria Yoruba boy just came out straight up like, are you okay? Me walking in the shop. With all my degrees, with all my MSc, with all, I've worked in Exxon, I've done this, I've done that. I should come and walk in the shop. She was like, no, that she's just suggesting that, I mean, so that I don't feel bored and alone and all that. I'm like, I'll be there. I want to be there, applying to jobs and all that. She was like, okay. So she dropped me. She went back home, and then I woke up that morning, just wanted to start applying to jobs, and that voice came as clear as daylight. Go into that shower now, get dressed, and go and open that shop. It was as clear as daylight. I couldn't even argue it. It was so loud and clear. Get up, clean up, go to that shop. And that's exactly what I did. I got up, I went straight to the shop, and I called my mother-in-law. Mommy, I'm out here. How am I gonna get the keys? She was like, okay. She was confused. She was like, oh.
And she could not tell you no cost.
Yeah, she couldn't exactly.
Be insulted, like, what am I getting?
Yeah, so she was like, yeah, fine. That go ahead. I'm coming. I'll meet you there. No, I was like, no, I'll drive to the house. Come get you. You don't have to come. She was like, no, that the alarm that I have to help you. I was like, okay, no problem. So she came. She opened the door. I started my clerical career. There. This happened. This was, and we're going to get married November 17th of that year. It was going to be a big wedding because we had over 420 guests listed already. My brother was shipping my parents from Nigeria, my uncles, aunties, they were coming from Nigeria and all that. And I was jobless. My brother financed it from my side, and then my mother-in-law too financed from my wife's side. So, I mean, I didn't have $1. I wasn't even making $1 when I was getting married. But it was a big and successful wedding at the end of the day. It had 420. I'm sure you're amazed, like, this guy. Yeah, I've passed through a lot, highs and lows. I mean, if you're an engineer, you understand what they call sine curve. It's a perfect trough and a perfect, it's a perfect hill and a perfect valley. You know, that it went like that. And that's how life is. It's always, it's ups and downs. Life is full of ups and downs. So, I started working there till November 17th. I think I stopped 2 weeks to the preparations because preparations were getting intense. So I had to stop the shop. We got someone to take over from me. I remember while I was at the shop working there, a lady came, an Igbo lady came, and she bought stuff. She looked at me. What are you doing here? Why are you here? You're good looking, you're okay guy, you speak well, but you selling stuff here. I was like, well, I mean, this is that point of my life, and I embrace it. She was like, no, you should go to school, go and get something to do with your life and all that. I didn't even tell her that I had anything. I just told her that, well, one day, hopefully,
life will be better.
God will listen to my, God did not come down from heaven and help you.
That's what they say.
Exactly. You have to help yourself. You are here. You are saying, how much are they paying you that will make your life better or anything? And I smiled. I was like, oh, thank you, ma'am. And I thank you for the advice. Thank you for the encouragement. I mean, I didn't even see, because there's this saying that goes to us: whatever you do it well. Do it unto the Lord, not unto man. Because on His words you can rely. You can't rely on man. You can't rely on just because it's a clerical job. I'm just going to do it for the fun of the clerical job thing. So I was more like, I did it like I was doing an engineering job. My mother-in-law came. I was cutting fish. She was just looking at me like, I'll come in early, clean the whole floor. I remember our rating was a B before I came in. Once I came in, it was an A. You know.
Find your man diligent in his works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I did that, and then right before the wedding, I had to stop to prepare for the job, to prepare for the wedding, because it was intense and preparations. People were coming from Nigeria, so have to help them with hotels, have to help them with people who they will stay with and all that. My parents came. My mom was sick. I think the flight was terrible for her, so she was sick. She actually passed out during the traditional wedding, which was 2 days. This was on the 15th of November. She passed out, and thank goodness she survived it. She was better. She's diabetic and all that. She was diabetic and all that. So she got better. She was prepped up for the actual wedding on the Sunday, November 17th, 2013. So right after the wedding, I believe I can remember the date. It was December 10th. I got a call. Myself and my wife, we just finished relaxing. We were just there. The phone was ringing. I was like, well, this is just quiet time with my wife. I don't want to even pick up any phone, because I kept doing interviews. So I mean, those will always come. I mean, with your resume and everything. Exactly. Those will always come. You get rejected. 9 out of 10 are rejections, but that one that comes, I make sure I smash the interview and all that. So just relaxing, we were just talking generally and all that, and this phone call, I'll pick it up later, Jerry, I don't have time. So later on, I was like, who is this person that called? Picked up the call. I was like, oh, Yinka, we want to offer you this job and all that. I was like, wow. Oh, this is where it says, he that findeth a wife has found a good thing and obtained favor from the Lord.
Yeah.
This is what that means. I mean, scriptures, every good thing, every bad thing that happens has a scriptural reference to it. So that when those things happen, I just pick it up like, this is what that means. I mean, this is what that means. And then I started that job, and it was a good job. I did very well in the job, got promoted. Funny enough, I didn't even last. I started December 10th, and then by June 2nd, I got almost $40,000 worth extra job at Dow Chemical as a piping engineer. I mean, I don't know if you have time. There's a lot to talk, but if you want to cut it short, it's okay.
So that was the breakthrough moment.
Yes.
And after then, you kept getting bigger and bigger.
It never stopped. It never stopped.
So your story has been sort of, like you said, the curve was very steep.
Either way, it's steep. Like when I'm going up, I go up. When I come down, I crash.
And then it's so amazing to note that. Yeah. So far, it's been on a very steady level.
Oh yes, it has been. But since there, it has been on an upward trajectory.
But a lot of Nigerians will come to UK, to America, to go diaspora. Yeah. And then a lot of them would have sort of given up at that caregiving spot. Job. Yeah. And they will keep going. They just decide, you know what, I'm just going to continue this caregiving and keep running after shifts and not focus on the path that they really wanted to go, just because there's that little gratification that they're getting from. So you said, my next question was supposed to be, what motivated you? but you have stated a number of things. You've stated God, then your wife came through, then there was your brother that kept pushing you, just making you go through. But at that point where even that point where your friend asked you to leave that night, you know, I'm not trying to make this a religious
I know it's not a religious
but
podcast.
Everybody that has gone through it have gotten to a point where they feel like, you know what, this is just it, right? Somebody asked you to leave, and then I'm sure that there were points where you cried, or where you just felt like, what is this? What's the next thing to do? So what moved you to that? What moved your faith to ever believe that something could ever come out of your story? I know there's a God part.
Yes.
So I know that he actually must have put a lot of things in your heart at that time.
True.
So maybe you just tell us what he put in your heart, or what the people that he put around you to help you realize that, you know, you can go further and life could get better.
So the God part, I believe everybody understands that part.
Yeah, they have to.
Then there's a human aspect to it, because I mean, if you have a master's degree, if you have a degree, any degree in anything, there's a reason why you got that degree. Even if like I know so many people who wanted to do engineering that didn't get engineering in University of Lagos, but pursued other stuff, but they excelled in it. Because at the end of the day, you find this life has a way of everybody in this life, I believe there's a purpose for everybody. And if you find yourself, I want to be an engineer, and then you find yourself in the medical field, keep going, just keep digging. It's like you digging for gold. It's deeper than you think, but just keep digging. Don't stop. There are going to be obstacles. There are going to be roots that are big and solid that will prevent you from going forward. But you have to break through those barriers. You have to keep going. You can't stop. Like my mom used to say, she says in Yoruba, "Ojo iku lojo isimi." Like, it's until you die. That's when you stop. You keep going. You keep going. It's when you die, that's when you stop. You don't just stop, I'm comfortable where I am. And there's this saying that I always get in my head whenever whenever I want to go wrong in whatever I'm doing. There's that saying that there's more if you keep doing right. There's more to come if you keep doing right. There's more to come if you keep doing right. So I went from Dow, now I'm at Tesla. You know, I've gone through several other companies that the money just keeps going up. I mean, let me see, the lowest bump that I ever had was probably $15,000 extra. It has been big jumps. So you don't stop, and just believe in yourself. You're a human being. Whoever is the president, whatever, wherever they are human beings. You can reach your own goal too. Your own goal might not be to be the president, but your own goal might to be the best version of you. The best version of you. And then for guys, if God does it for you, meet the perfect mate, Jesus, that helps. I mean, it's more like a platform for you to keep going to where you want to get to. If you have that perfect mate, that wife, if you take your time, because before I found my wife, there was something I did. I prayed and fasted for 6 months.
Oh my God.
It was intense. And then this woman came, and I married her in the space of 8 months that I met her. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be driven. You have to be driven. Everybody has a purpose in life. And there's another thing that taught me a lesson back in Nigeria. There's this guy, they call him Of London. This guy is a carpenter. He's a carpenter. I used to go to my friend's house in Maryland, in Lagos. So the older brother came from Germany. So most of his friends from the UK and all that, they always come to visit him. He's a big guy, so they always come to visit him there in Maryland. So I mean, Brafemi was like, he was just the man. So one of his friends came, and then this carpenter guy was helping him build his cafe. This was year 2002, 2003. I can remember perfectly. So this guy came, very nice guy. He came from London. He goes to London. He tours Europe, actually. So this carpenter that doesn't even know how to speak English, They call him, he said, Emi Oflon, Emi Ajagaji. I mean, he just sings his own praise. So this bros was that travels all over the place was just looking at him like, well, why not? You come first. Why do they call you off London? Have you entered a plane before? And the guy was like, me, I've not entered any plane, no. But one day, God can do it.
Yes,
I mean, I was there, not that I was told. I heard it. I was like, wow, so much confidence and effrontery from the guy. From a carpenter. Like, that guy had that was the definition of that proverb. That was the definition of it. This guy was a carpenter that roams the streets. I'm not making. He's a good guy. Funny enough, first of all, he's a good guy, but he's just that. I mean, grows up in the
typical say mushy boy.
Mushy boy, exactly, something like that in the streets.
No offense to mushy people.
Please, no offense, please. And this bros just looked at him like, you know, you are going to enter that London, Sha. And we going for London. Believe you me, in a month's time, this guy was in London.
Oh my God.
He's in London as we speak. He's not the most proficient in English. He's still not. Because I still call him off now. I mean, he's full of life. Never underestimate yourself. You're a human being and you have a purpose. You have a purpose. No matter if people call you failure, say to yourself that I'm not a failure. And I'll succeed in anything I put my hand in. That's the winner. Not giving up. That's the winner in life. Those who don't give up, they are the winners in life.
That's quite deep. That is very deep. That is very deep. And just relating to the story of the guy that it was just, you know, I understand the power of the tongue.
Yes.
But you see, from most of the interviews that I've had with some of my friends, you know, they always talk about that support system, that person that just pushes you. So let's just put I don't know his name.
That was an outlier.
Let's put him on the seat right now. And if I was interviewing him, his story would be a stranger just supported him and just moved him there. Like, you know, I was just asking you now, what's motivated you, what kept you going? And then you said there was your brother, there was the
my parents.
Your parents, there's the intuition, the hope that you kept alive. And then people that just are around your life. That's actually so, guys. I think to sum it all up, things will happen.
Yes.
People are very important in your journey.
Exactly.
Are very much important, and most of it all, or the most motivation you can ever get is you motivating yourself. Because every other person can do it. But if you don't do it yourself, you would.
There's nothing. If you can't convince yourself to do something, nobody in this earth will convince you of doing anything.
Oh my God.
You should be the best critic of yourself, but at the same time, you should be your own number one supporter. That they're calling me dumb. They're calling me. I've heard that before. It was in one of my jobs, because those jobs, if I get into a new job, you know, things are new.
Yeah, you have to slow down.
So I slow down. I kind of slow down. So I heard one of this. He's a technician, so white technician. He's not been to the four walls of any school, but he knows the plants. He knows the plant. He's been there for 23 years, and I'm just there in a month, and he already sees me as a dumb person. So he called me a dumb person that day. He called me a dumb person to some other guys. So I smiled when one of those guys, Inka, Popinka just called you dumb. I'm like, that's his opinion. Will I say I'm dumb? No, I'm not dumb. I'm the sharpest person in this company. Though I'm the last to come in, but I'll show you that I'm the sharpest guy in this place. And I'll turn things around. I'll make him better. By the time I'm leaving him, I'll make him a better person. The guy was like, come on, man, you talk too much, Inker. It's okay.
That's some self-confidence there.
We're just joking. That's what he now put. I said, yeah, I'm joking too, right? I'm joking. You know, people will put you down, but how do you react to it? How do you react to it? People are going to say you're dumb, you're this, you're that. No. What do you feel like? What do you think about yourself? Are you a go-getter? Yeah, I mean, it was slow. I was learning their ways. I can't just start coming there and start, ordering people around. No, I won't do that. Some people do that to show power and all that, but I'm more of the, like, I take it slow. I look around. I look who to go to learn. Someone like Popinga that he's talking, I actually learn from him. I ask him dumb questions, so he thinks I'm dumb. He doesn't know that I'm getting information from him. And then 6 months, I was flying, and then oh whoa, you know.
Yeah. So you just said that you've had to ask dumb questions in the even from the weirdest or the smallest person in the room. So you have a master's degree, and are there so of course there are a number of people that will be watching this episode and be wondering, okay, so I like his story. He says he works at Tesla now. He didn't know what to do at some point. His friend even sent him out of the house at some point. And look at him, he's doing so great. Okay, so I'm here sitting in Nigeria or in some other country, and so what if I'd never had a mechanical engineering degree? Is that possible to just move into say a company like the one that you work for now? Is it possible to not have a mechanical engineering degree and just go into that kind of firm, like an automobile firm, especially since it's one of the biggest electric car
It
company.
is the biggest. It's the biggest. It's number one. EV, electric vehicle, is the number one in the world.
So some people, of course, I know that there are other like operational areas that you can work in, but I don't work in Tesla, so I'm sure that if I advise you that, don't worry, you can get a job, please just listen to somebody that works there. So that aside, I want you to answer that question. I also want you to answer the question of somebody that has studied mechanical engineering and is probably, not even getting anything yet. I know you have motivated them sort of passively, not even passively, you did it actively. But is there some sort of certification or extra training that you would advise them to go for to be able to develop themselves so that they're a lot more attractive in the market, in the job market? So those are the two questions that I have to ask.
So the first part, which is like, if you don't have a mechanical degree, how can you get to a place like this? I have a lot of stories, but I'll cut it short. So at a point in my career, IT was booming. And even with my my engineering degrees and all that, I vied into it a little bit. I studied hard. I had sleepless nights because this is a complete change of career. So, guys were killing it. So I was like, oh, okay, don't let me, let me be part of this wave. Let me enjoy this.
They say engineering is faded
off. It's faded off, exactly. So let me eat out of the national cake now. So I did this 6-month course. There was this online, what do they call it? Online.
What is online programs?
Program, So I did one, and I got all the gist there. And I actually got a job doing that IT on the side. And it's more, degrees at the end of the day, they are just to put you in front of someone a company who's going to hire you. It gets you that foot into the door. Like, so I didn't say this, I have an MBA too from UT Austin. University of Texas at Austin. That's the number one school in Texas. That's the highly number one. And that's the most challenging academic school that I've been to in my academic, anything that I've done in my entire life. Because there were 8 students in that class. If you score an 85, you can actually fail in that school. If you score it, you have to go with the mindset that you're going to score everything. That elevated me to another realm. I mean, if you want to beat, if you can't beat them, you join them. That's another thing. I had that since my brother, because I couldn't beat him. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't beat him.
You just left him.
I was like, leave him. But if I can't beat you, but I'll join you. And I'll be at your cocktail. That's why if you do engineering, I'm doing engineering because I know I can do it too.
If you get in red class, I'm getting.
I got class. Exactly. So if you can't beat them, you join them. So that's what I did in this UT, because you had to. It's like the top of the line academicians. Like, that is the smartest, sharpest class I've ever been. I mean, I was averaging 90s, but I wasn't getting A's. I was averaging 90s. There was a course that I thought, oh, no how I'm going to get an A in this course. And I scored a 97 average, because I was averaging 100. Then one of the tests, I think I had, one of the assessments I had like 92. So my average just fell to like 97. And I was expecting to have an A. And I had an A2. I was like, what? A minus. So there's A plus, A minus. I had an A minus in that course. I was like, what else do I need to do? Are you guys kidding me? What kind of human beings are in here?
And there were people that were getting all A's.
These guys were there were at least 50 people who had more than that 97. Who scored higher than 97.
What were they writing?
I don't know.
Giving them textbooks.
These guys are crazy.
Oh,
that's
that
the craziest class.
Challenge.
Oh my goodness. See, my family suffered for that 2 years when I was in that MBA. This was I started it in 2019, June 2019. I finished it in May 21st. It was on my birthday, on my 42nd birthday. That's when I finished that MBA, May 21st. I was like, what? Like, my family suffered. I was in one of the rooms there reading overnight. I was averaging sleep for 4 hours a day because I had to work. It was while I was working. And then I was going to school. And the school was even more competitive than whatever work I was doing. But believe you me, that work, that MBA puts my resume on top of almost everything. Because now I have a degree in mechanical, first degree in mechanical, bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Nigeria. Then I have Nigeria. Then I have an MSc coming here, Texas A&M. And then I have an MBA. So those things, see, it's not about, oh, because people are doing MBA, people are doing it. See, to get yourself to a level where nobody will ignore you when you're looking for a job, keep pushing. Knowledge is light, ignorance is darkness. That's our motto at Mayflower School. Knowledge is light, ignorance is darkness. So that knowledge puts you in the light of any job you want to do. Education will take you anywhere. Will put you at the doorsteps of big guns. So,
oh my God! But
whatever you want to do in your life, you can do it. If you have a mechanical degree, if you want to switch to the IT, if you want to switch to business, if you want to, just put your heart to it. Just put in the work.
Just keep going.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Just be relentless. Relentless.
I feel like there's a bubble on my head right now. So I'm really lost in thoughts. Where am I relenting? I need to keep going.
Yes, you can't stop. You can't stop.
So if you have, wherever you're at, either you have a mechanical engineering degree or not, just keep upskilling. Keep developing yourself. Skills in whatever is trending. IT, like he said. He has an MBA and he still went ahead to develop yourself in IT.
If I want to switch to a cloud engineer now, I can do it.
Oh my Lord.
Easily. But it's just that I have that love for engineering. So I did it 6 months. I was like, this is not, the money was good, but I was like, this is not me. I'd rather do that's another thing. You do what you enjoy doing. And my dream job is Tesla, and I'm doing exactly what I want to do for Tesla. People, what would you be doing for Tesla? Are you making the cars? I don't make the cars, but I design where they make the cars. That's what I do. We have a lot of pipings going in the giga plant, and those pipings need to be supported, need to be directed to tanks, need to be connected to equipment.
That's
I
very
have to
common.
exactly. I have to make sure that you're not putting too much stress on the piping or on the nozzle of the equipment. I have to make sure that the forces are okay, the piping is well supported, stuff like that. So that's where my design engineering comes into, to make sure that all those pipings are well supported.
Thank you. So my next question would be around your day-to-day.
Yeah.
As a mechanical engineer, it
Yep.
could be at any point in your career.
Yeah.
But can you share with us what challenges you have faced? And if I'm going to relate this to a young professional, it will be somebody probably studying young mechanical engineering right now and just thinks, oh my God, it's just he has told me a story. I know that I will face problems before I get the job, but doesn't know that when you get on the job, there are challenges. They're really challenges.
That's when the actual challenges start.
Yeah. And so could you just run us through your normal day-to-day and what sort of challenges do you face? Have you faced? Because I know you've gone past a lot of these levels.
Yep.
But what sort of challenges did you face in the course of your career that has helped you become better?
So I'll go to my first big jump, which is at Dow Chemical. So when I got hired, I mean, I used to use this word. I used to tell my wife, God qualifies the non-qualified. Because I wasn't qualified for that job. I was going to be trained to become that person for that job. So the lady that hired me, a black lady, hired me, hey, I know you have a master's degree, you have a bachelor's degree, but this is a role, subject matter expert, SME. You're going to be an SME for this site and all that. But I've put up a 2-year development chart for you to grow into this role. So I mean, a black lady. So these are the things you face as a black man here. Racism is real. So if you come in here, if you work in diaspora, if you work in America, if you work in the US, racism is real. And if you're a go-getter, you always have to clash with white people. You have to work with them. You always have to work with them. And the one thing I'll tell you to do is don't fight back when they fight you. You pray for them. You humble them. That's what I did. You humble the white man, and then they'll get to know that, oh, not all of them are the same. Because what they do is that they put you in a tight corner, and then they expect you to fight. They push you to the wall. They push you right to the wall, and they expect you to fight back, and then they fire you, and then you're gone. So I was pushed to the wall. So after I got hired at Dow, I mean, I bought 2 brand new cars, bought a new house. Yeah, man, this is my breakthrough and everything. Just like the question she asked, like, oh, you get that big jump. What are the challenges? The challenges are the people you work with. So the lady who hired me moved on to the higher role, so another person had to come in. And this person, being a white guy, he comes from a place where they are known to breathe racist. So I won't mention his name, it's just for confidentiality. He started, I don't know whether he liked me or not, but it's what it is, because he saw that 2-year chart for me to learn. And then I don't want to go into a lot of details, but there was this guy who was supposed to be my tech coach who didn't like me, didn't like my previous boss. They were always at loggerheads. So now when the new boss came, who looks like him,
with him.
Exactly, they were like, oh, let's get I believe they had a meeting, let's get this guy out of here. So they threw the 2-year plan away. And then, okay, you have to know this thing in the next 3 months or I kick you out of this place. I got him that day, I was like, yeah, come on. I'll start, I'll be sleeping in the office. All I need to do is just come here, brush my teeth, change clothes, and then
drink coffee
and go back to work. And that's what I did for that 3 months. I learned that work in 3 months. A work I was supposed to learn in 2 years. I don't want to go into details, but
yeah.
I knuckled down like, okay, this is it. I was supposed to learn it in 3 months, and I was supposed to be taken out. They call it PIP, Performance Improvement Plan. Once you get into that thing, you don't get out. Typically, you don't get out of it until they kick you out of the company. That's what that thing is supposed to. It's like a documentation for them to kick you out of the company. So I was gotten into that PIP, and I was like, yeah, okay. Came home. I mean, told my wife the bad news, and walked my way.
It's coming.
So that 3 months, they were supposed to review some work that I did. They didn't have any comments. The tech coach told my boss, oh, I don't have any comments. So I went to him, was like, no news is good news. I'm like, okay, so I'm free. I was like, no.
I'm still going to be after you.
I'm going to move the shift the due date again, another 3 months, so 6 months. So I was like, oh, thank you, sir. I mean, thank you for giving me the opportunity. So I go home, why are they doing that? You're supposed to take you off it. You're supposed to be free, working and all that. I'm like, well, it's an opportunity. At least they didn't send me out. If he decided to send me out, I mean, that's another lesson. You see the good in the evil. He's doing bad, actually. He wants to frustrate me by extending the PIP. He wants to extend it so that I gotta get frustrated, revolt, and then easy revolt. Once you revolt to your boss, that's it. You're gonna. So he moved it. That guy gave me a harder project to do. After the project, any comments? No comments. I went to him. How's it? He said no comment. He didn't even say, you did good. Or no, forget that.
I'm sure you blew his mind.
Did good. Wow. No. He was more like, yeah, no news is good news. I left. See, I was on this thing for a year and a half. Something that was meant to be 3 months. And how did I get out of it? Because he was hell bent on getting me out of that company. And what changed the whole thing was that this is how God works. I have to keep on saying God. I'm sorry to say, I have to keep saying God. I know many of us don't believe in it, but that's my own innate belief. How God did it was that his own boss, my boss's boss, was kicked out of the company. And this guy came, his name is Bob Lewandowski. I know those of you who watch soccer will know who Bob Lewandowski is. He was once playing for Bayern Munich. Now he's playing for Barcelona. Exact name, Bob Lewandowski. So he comes from the same. Tracing back his lineage to Europe, he actually comes from the same country, Poland. So he loves that Bob Lewandowski. So he came into office, and then a week after he came to my desk, it was like, oh, are you Yinka? I was like, yes, I'm Yinka. Schedule something on my calendar for tomorrow. I'd like to talk to you. So I just knew what it is because I've been on PIP for the longest time. So that day I got home, I prayed, God, just give me words for this guy. Because I don't know what to tell him. Because yeah, I'm on the PIP, but I still have a job. What am I going to say to him?
Yeah.
So I got in there with him the next day. We sat down, we talked. It was like, so funny enough, he's a mechanical engineer too. So he asked me some fundamental mechanical questions. Because those are the things that we put in. This guy doesn't even know mechanical fundamentals. Those were the comments that they have on my record.
Hi.
You know, that I can even blow up the plant. They went as far as saying I'll blow up the plant and all that. So he was like, so what's the problem? I mean, we're both mechanical engineers. We've spoken our language, and then you're good. What was the problem? I said, I mean, maybe my tech coach feels different about some things, but he's a great guy. And he was like, okay, fine. I know what you're trying to do. I'm like, no, he's a great guy. I mean, he knows the stuff. He knows the stuff, right? I mean, he gave me all these challenges, and those challenges have improved me.
Yeah.
Every challenge improved me. They became tougher, but they improved me. The guy just sat back and was just looking at me like, who is this guy? And then it was, okay, that's side. Okay, how about your boss? Tell me about him. Like, oh, I still have a job because of him.
You're just responding to
And
every
the guy was like,
with
okay.
love.
He was like, okay. Yeah, I know exactly what's happening. You know what? Just go home. You've been through a lot. I know what it is to work under pressure for 1.5 years. I know what you passed through. I just busted out crying.
You started crying.
I just busted out crying like, geez, like that was.
He doesn't know half of it.
And he said, "Don't worry, I'll fix everything." The next day, my boss called me and said, "Oh, Yinka, yeah, so I'm going to take care of the PIP. Yeah, you're doing that." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you." It's like, whoa. He was expecting me to revolt them. I just thanked him, like, thank you.
You responded with love.
Then, so as much as possible, you respect people. And I mean, it's hard not to push back when you're pushed to the wall, but that is when you're even meant to be more humble, because it's God that is fighting this fight for you. Leave all those I'm sharp, I'm this, I'm that. All those ones these guys will chew you out as a black man. I have to put that out. As a black man, you're working against some forces that you have to fight back with humility, with respect, even though they are still your boss. And even in the Bible still says that you respect those above you. You respect those above you. They just didn't get there in one day. They worked for it. So if you're going there saying that they don't know what they're doing, they put you in, no, you still have to respect them. You have to make sure that you humble yourself, you respect them, and you leave everything to God. But after that, I mean, this SME role has been the capstone of my career to today. Because what I learned in those first 3 months is what jump-started my whole career. That's what I'm doing for Tesla today. That's the same job that I did then. When I came into Tesla, they were like, I did some things and they were like, whoa, this guy's good. I mean, that's how I got into Tesla. So your lowest point are the places that make you get to your highest point. When you're at that lowest point, that's when with humility and respect to the people around you, especially at work, that will help. That will go a long way, and forgiveness too. Because my friend that kicked me out, a year later, he was looking for a job. He came to me, and the owner of the company I was working for happens to be he's still my best friend till tomorrow. I buy eggs from him. He has a big farm, a poultry. I buy eggs from him. He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, my friend needs a job. He was like, yeah, let him come. They interviewed him. He got a job. That's for a guy who. So all these things add to where you get to in your life: humility, respect, and forgiveness.
Those are values that you need to hold really dear to you, because to be honest, I'm sure that if you weren't humble during those periods you definitely would not have learned those things that you learned. You'd have just thought, oh, these people are just after my life. You'd have quit. You'd have just said, start revolting like you said. But just the way you have painted it just shows that there's always a good to every bad that is happening in your life.
Exactly.
And I used to say something about it's just these things are just things that just spice up your story.
Exactly.
Because if you had just come here and sat on the hot seat and you're just telling me, so I came to the US and I got this job and I'm like, okay, so what's your story? But it's so many scars.
So many scars. Yeah, so many scars.
The scars are so spicy
and
makes the story very interesting to listen to, and it's definitely going to motivate somebody out there. And so I'm sure that somebody out there, your bosses or your colleagues are hunting for your life.
Yeah.
But don't worry.
Show them love. Love conquers all. Love conquers everything.
Right. I know that it's not easy.
It's not easy. But you just have to, if you have that humility, you'll be able to love. Because if you see yourself, if you have that pride, there's no how. I mean, we all have that element of pride in us. But if you can suppress the pride and then humble yourself, that love will come no matter how. Because when you're only he that is humble need fear no fall. So when you're humble, you can see better. But if you are proud, you see less. Because all you see is yourself. You don't see everything around you. And then there's another thing that I want to say. Don't look at the hole in the donut. Focus on the donut. Focus on the positives of every challenges you're facing. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So, I know that you have taken all those degrees and the masters, the MBA, but are there other ways that you sort of catch up with the industry progress, or like how do you catch up with that?
Certifications. That's what you do.
So what kind of certifications
for
are
like
there?
for the IT that I did that I delved into? So I fell in love with the with Microsoft rather than Amazon or Google. So the Azure platform is so they have tons and tons and tons, and most of their own stuff are free.
Yeah, Power Platform. Yeah.
Exactly, most of them are free. So that was kind of like, I don't have to pay for it for knowledge. Oh, I'll do it. I'll learn it. I mean, they're encouraging you to learn something. So if you have knowledge for free, grab it with both hands. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. Grab it. It's easy. So there are so many certifications out there. With those certifications, you can get those jobs. You can get whatever your degree, because I'm not going to take my degree off my resume. Those are my foundations. So that's the platform I build everything on. So they know from the degrees, they know, okay, you can delve into it. I've delved into business, did some consultancy. I mean, I don't want to get into all those ones. I mean,
but none of the knowledge is wasted. It just helps you. They're sort of interwoven. You just need this for this and this and this. That's why he said just keep upgrading.
Keep upgrading.
Keep developing yourself.
Upgrading. Knowledge, once you see knowledge, like I said, knowledge is light, ignorance is darkness. Knowledge will keep on expanding your horizon, because you're shining light. The light is, I mean, the more you know, the more you want to do, the more you become resourceful. If you have knowledge of something, the more, and that's what they're paying for. They're paying for your knowledge. They're not paying for come and work for us.
Thank you. So what would you advise? So it's not that's not the question.
So many advices.
So I know, right? You've just been dishing out advice. So there's no advice.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you to just say one last word of advice to anyone that is currently struggling in their career, young, and is just at the verge of giving up or just settling for the least that there is at the moment. Just a word of some words.
Never give up. Never give up. I remember this Champions League. Sorry, I'm a Manchester United fan. I know a lot of people hate me.
I had to say it.
Yeah, we are nonsense right now, so you guys can hate us. But the great Sir Alex Ferguson said right after the 1999 Champions League win against Bayern, we played nonsense from the first minute till the 90th minute, but they still kept playing. They weren't doing well, but they kept playing. And that's what Sir Alex Ferguson said. They never give up. And that's the winner. Never give up. Never give up. Until you pass away. They say when there's life, there's hope. Never give up. There's always something big. Life is a life of challenges. But if you face those challenges head on, you win. If you don't quit, you win. You will win if you don't quit. You will win. Eventually.
It could be the minutes where you're about to quit. That's something, that breakthrough is coming.
It's just right at the corner.
I know that I used to watch those videos on social media where you keep pumping for the water and you see someone that has a very shallow ground and has pumped and has finished everything there, and you have a very large water underground, and you keep trying to get it. It's not coming up, and then you go and try that person. Yours is deeper with lots of water, and you just at that point where it's just coming up, you just give up and you try the person's one, and you're like, oh, maybe nothing's gonna work. But it could just be at that point that something.
Keep digging.
Yeah, so that's
it's gonna happen. It's always gonna happen. Keep digging. like I said, life is ups and downs, ups and downs. There was a time that I mean, right after COVID, I went for a job in Iowa, came back because of COVID. I couldn't keep on flying back and forth because family was still in Houston. I was in Iowa. I used to flying every other weekend. Then COVID struck, so I had to quit that job, come home. And because of COVID, there was no job. No job was hiring.
Yeah.
I mean, for 6 months, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything. But one thing again is that you want to save up, save up for the rainy days.
Yeah.
Because those things, they are gonna come. It's just life. It's not that you are bad or you're good or you're anything. It's just life. Rain and sunshine falls on all of us. Down is so likewise challenges. It will come. Don't ever think, oh, you're getting it good now. It's not gonna. You just have to prepare for when it comes down. You have to prepare. Life is full of challenges. So, but never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Never give up.
Yeah.
So, you're going to look into the camera.
Yep.
And you're going to advise them. That's the last advice I'm going to
Yep.
give.
Yep. Yes. I will.
My advice.
I will.
So you're going to look in the camera and you're going to tell them to keep watching Young and Corporate series.
Please, though, you can't do without watching Young and Corporate series. Please, this is where it happens. This is where you get the gist of life, especially for a young black man. I'll say black Nigerian, but outside, I mean, I want to broaden the horizon.
The reach, yeah.
Broaden the reach. This is for black people to keep coming up. There's always something for us. There's always something for us out here. Be it anywhere on the globe. Anywhere on the globe. I don't want to say America is right. No. Wherever you find yourself, wherever, Germany, Belgium, Austria, I mean, in the deserts, in Canada, wherever you are,
Just keep going.
keep going, keep pushing. Challenges will come, but if you don't give up, you'll make it.
Yeah, and then you have to watch
Watch
channel.
the channel. Please watch the channel. You're gonna get lots of this types of advices like this from guys that have been there with the scars. We fought the battle, but now it's to pass it on to you guys.
So you don't have to
watch
fight
the channel,
it.
please. Watch
Thank
the channel.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.